All right, back with the post bevel and burnishing update, I guess, here. So we'll just go through one by one. We'll go, I guess, back opposite order. So starting off with the Shinky, the deep blue one here, which that looks really nice with the flesh, the rough side showing as well. Surprisingly enough, this one was the most difficult to bevel. So beveling, if you're not familiar with it, is using this tool here, and all you're doing is you are taking basically a sharp corner and you're cutting the edge off of it. So instead of being a 90 degree, it kind of flattens it out, and that way when you're burnishing, otherwise if you have the flat corner when you burnish, it'll kind of mushroom over, and that way if you take that corner off of there though, it'll burnish and it'll burnish flat. So, but beveling was most difficult on this one. The grain side, the finished side on most of them, which is the dark one here versus the rough side, they were all somewhat challenging, although I would say the Ricardo, Horween, and Shinky were about the same. All of them were kind of tough to start, but once you got started, that went along smoothly. The Cordovan one, it was kind of a fight all the way through on the finished side. Just never really got a smooth cut going. But yeah, so on where the Shinky kind of lagged behind the others was on the rough side. Kind of had to fight through the rough side for the entire beveling as well, which is normal for veg tan leather. But I will say the other three all performed really well on the rough side, and maybe even better than they did on the finished side. So the beveler just kind of was gliding right through all three of them. All three performed really well, and this one just kind of a little tougher. Overall, they all did well. None of them grabbed at the beveler. You'll occasionally have some not great leather where it'll grab at it and cause the beveler to dig into the leather. That did not happen at all. It also didn't skip off the leather. I didn't have to restart. So overall worked well. Just took more effort on the Shinky than it did on the Shinky for the rough side, and then for the Cordovan on the grain side than the other ones. So, but overall went really well. From there, burnishing. So I use a product here called Tokenol, and with a burnishing cloth, this is just a rough cloth, and you can see all the stuff that gets on there. But all you're doing, applying the burnishing agent to the edges of the leather where you beveled, and basically just going back and forth with the cloth here. They performed equally well. So no complaints. All of them have a really nice finish now. It's going to be tough to see that. You'll see better at the end, especially here on the bottom and the bottom half of the side where you'll have 3 layers thick. I can show you a little bit more. But overall, with first impressions, went really well for all 3 of them. So no complaints. They all have a nice edge on the 3 edges that I just did. So I have glued the first edge, so that is rough side to rough side. Won't really have much results on those till obviously the glue is fully dried, but even more than that, I'll be folding these over and then gluing on the grain side, the finished side. So once you do that and start punching holes with the stitching irons, that's where you see how well the glue is actually holding. I do not have the tool that roughens up the leather. That is something I've looked at purchasing. Haven't done it yet, haven't really needed it, so I haven't prioritized that as a tool. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Really nothing, I'm not gonna be able to knock any leather for not being able to hold if I don't have the right tools. But I'll be working on gluing these and punching holes and sewing. So I'll have some time lapse, but maybe not the whole thing, because it'll take maybe a couple hours to get all 4 of them done. So, all right, thanks, see you in a bit.